Imagine this. A priceless piece of ancient art. It's seen Roman life in Pompeii, but then gets caught up in World War II.
Stolen by a notorious thief, no less.
Exactly. And then decades later, the whole mystery starts to unravel. You've given us a really compelling source on a story just like that.
It's quite something.
So today we're doing a deep dive into the fascinating return of this ancient mosaic to Pompeii. It's even been described as erotic. And this artifact, it has this incredible history, doesn't it? From like Roman bedrooms all the way to a Nazi German captain, and now finally back home again.
Quite the journey.
So our mission today is to unpack that journey. We want to explore what this specific mosaic tells us about Roman art, Roman society.
And it's a really surprising path through a global conflict.
Right. And the implications of it finally coming back now. We'll even look at, why people sometimes return stolen artifacts like this.
It touches on some big themes.
Okay, let's jump in.
Well, what's truly fascinating here, I think, is just how much history is packed into this one object. We're talking about a mosaic panel made on travertine slabs.
Okay, travertine. That's a kind of limestone.
Exactly. Yeah, very durable. The Romans used it a lot in building. And this piece, it dates from somewhere between the late 1st century BC and the early 1st century AD.
So right around the time Pompeii was Pompeii.
Precisely. And experts, they consider it a work of extraordinary cultural interest. That's the official term.
And the subject matter sounds pretty unique, too. The source calls it erotic.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean in this Roman context?
Well, it shows a couple lovers in a state of undress. There's a male figure sort of lounging on a bed or maybe a couch.
Okay.
And then a female figure standing but facing away from us, the viewer.
That does sound strikingly intimate, especially for ancient art.
It is, and Gabriel Zuftrigel, he's the director of the Archaeological Park of Pompeii, he pointed out that this mosaic really marks a moment when the theme of domestic love becomes an artistic subject.
Domestic love.
Yeah.
So a shift away from gods and heroes.
Exactly. A huge departure, really, if you think about the Hellenistic period before it, after Alexander the Great.
Right, lots of drama, idealized figures.
Gods, battles, myths. But here you suddenly see this focus on everyday human connection, intimacy. It might have even been on the floor of a bedroom in Pompeii.
Wow.
So the key insight, I think, is this shift from those, grand mythological passions to something much more like the intimate beauty of human love, domestic love. It feels almost modern for its time.
A modern sentiment captured in stone thousands of years ago. That's incredible.
It really is.
So then this beautiful, intimate piece gets swept up in, one of the most chaotic periods of modern history. How does an ancient mosaic from Pompeii end up with a Nazi German captain during World War II?
Yeah, that's where the story takes a really dark turn. It was stolen by a Nazi German captain.
Stolen directly from Pompeii. Or how?
The source indicates he was assigned to the military supply chain in Italy during the war, and that position, unfortunately, seems to have given him the opportunity to, acquire things like this.
Right. Opportunities for looting, essentially.
It seems that way. And then the captain apparently gave the mosaic as a gift to a German citizen.
A gift?
Yes. And that person eventually became its last private owner. So this little piece of ancient Roman life spent decades hidden away in Germany, completely removed from its context, taken during this huge global conflict.
Just incredible.
Yeah.
But its journey didn't stop there, did it? The next part is pretty extraordinary, too.
It really is, the repatriation, how it came back.
Yeah, it speaks volumes about maybe changing attitudes towards cultural heritage. It was the heirs, the family of that last owner in Germany, who actually started the process of returning it. What made them do that? Do we know?
Well, this really brings up questions about personal ethics, doesn't it? Responsibility.
Definitely.
The heirs contacted the Carabinieri unit in Rome, that's Italy's special police force, the ones who deal with cultural heritage crimes.
The Tutela Patrimonio Culturale.
That's the one. They basically ask for information on how to return the mosaic to Italy, to the state.
So they reached out proactively.
They did. And then the authorities, of course, had to do their checks, verify its authenticity, figure out its provenance, its ownership history, where it originally came from.
Which must have been hard, given how long it was missing and the lack of records.
Exactly. They mentioned the scarcity of data about its original discovery, but by working with the Archaeological Park of Pompeii, they managed to trace it back to the Vesuvius area.
Amazing detective work.
It is. And then the Italian consulate in Stuttgart, Germany, handled the diplomatic side of things, arranging the physical return in September 2023.
So now it's back in Pompeii, cataloged, safe, and presumably available for study.
Yes, for educational and research purposes.
And Gabriel Zutriegel, the park director, used some really striking words to describe its return. He called it like healing an open wound.
Powerful imagery.
It really is. And he also highlighted how the heirs' decision signals an important change in mentality.
That's interesting.
This idea that owning something stolen can become a burden.
It's a fascinating point. Does possessing stolen history eventually weigh on the conscience? Zustriegel definitely thinks so. He talked about how the sense of possession of stolen art can become a heavy burden.
So it's not just about legality, but a personal, ethical weight.
It seems to be a complex mix. Personal conscience, yes, but also maybe evolving societal values and perhaps even folklore.
Folklore? What do you mean?
Well, Zuchtugel mentioned something else. He said this isn't totally unique. He gets lots of letters, apparently, from people returning things they took from Pompeii, sometimes just a single stone.
Seriously, why?
There's this popular superstition, maybe you've heard of it, the Pompei curse.
A curse. Like bad luck follows you if you steal from Pompeii.
That's the idea. He said it suggests bad luck will hit anyone who takes artifacts from the ancient city. And while, it's a superstition...
It seems to actually motivate some people.
Apparently so. Tourists have claimed all sorts of tragic events happened after they pocketed something. So it seems like this curse might be playing a role in some returns alongside any ethical awakenings.
Wow, a curse. So it's this blend of modern ethics, personal guilt, maybe legal pressure in some cases, and ancient superstition all pushing towards repatriation.
It really highlights how the past isn't really past, is it? It finds ways to exert influence centuries later.
Whether it's a genuine change of heart or fear of a curse, the point is these items are coming back. This mosaic's journey, it just wraps up centuries of history and changing human values, doesn't it?
It really does. It shows this evolving relationship. Think about it for centuries. Ownership often meant power, control. Now, for some at least, it seems to be shifting towards ethical custodianship.
A sense of responsibility for the past?
Yeah, maybe a shift in our collective human consciousness, you could say. It's a big thought.
So let's recap. We followed this incredible journey of an ancient Roman mosaic, created back in Pompeii, probably around the turn of the Common Era, showing this intimate scene of domestic love.
Then stolen during World War II by a Nazi Wehrmacht captain.
And finally, just recently repatriated. Returned thanks to the conscience, or perhaps the burden, felt by the heirs of its last private owner.
A long road home.
Absolutely. And the return isn't just about one artifact. As Gabriel Zutriegel said, it's like healing an open wound. We've heard about this potential change in mentality, even the strange influence of the Pompei curse. So this brings us to a final thought for you, our listener. Thinking beyond curses or shifting ethics, what does this ongoing effort, this piece-by-piece return of cultural heritage, really tell us about humanity's evolving relationship with its own history, with our shared identity?
How does acknowledging these past wrongs, these thefts during conflict or colonialism, and trying to right them, how does that actually impact how we understand our past?
And perhaps more importantly, how might it shape our future? Something to think about.